Let's talk about the older, cheaper consoles from the 2000s, 2010s. Specifically, the PSP or the Nintendo 3DS, or the new Nintendo 3DS. Well, which one do you want to buy? So, I'm going to go through that. We're going to go through the consoles itself, the games, modding the console and how easy it is, and how it is when it's modded. And that's probably what we're going to talk about. And you can decide on whether which one you want to buy after you watch the video, or I will be giving my opinions on which console to buy at the end of the video. Topic number 1. The PSP and the 3DS, or the new 3DS XL, how good are they when they're not modified and their selection of games and such? So the consoles themselves, they are very good. The PSP, well, both the consoles, you can buy a Nintendo 3DS for around probably like $60-$70. Like, not brand new used, but used doesn't really matter if you're going to mod it, or if you can mod it. Now, the PSP, I don't know how much these go for. I'm gonna quickly check that real quick. It turns out the PSPs are going for cheaper than the Nintendo 3DS. Why is that? You may understand why within the next few minutes of this video. Okay, all around, without modding the consoles, the vanilla console right when you buy it off stock. What you need to know, the games on Nintendo 3DS are probably cheaper. I have not checked that out, but I believe they are. And also, the game selection, in my opinion, is a lot better. And also, getting a memory stick for the PSP, or getting a new one, or anything, you have to have an adapter, or you have to buy a brand new memory stick duo, which are 4 gigabytes each. This will come in use later. Alright, so if you're not looking to buy any new stuff along with your console, you probably wouldn't be choosing the PSP. But for the Nintendo DS, or the Nintendo 3DS, use a micro SD card. Or that's for the new Nintendo 3DS. The old Nintendo 3DS, that one, it takes a actual, the bigger SD cards. Now, those can range, obviously, anywhere from 4 gigabytes to however many you can fit on there. And that won't be a problem, because, usually you can get them for really cheap. Unlike the PSP, where you have to get a certain memory stick duo card, and not just any regular old SD card. Okay, let's talk about the best games of each console. So what I've played of the PSP is, my favorite games were probably, one of them was Test Drive Unlimited. Probably Little Big Planet. I think it was Little Big Planet 3? I'm not sure. I can't recall. Tekken was really fun. God of War was fun. Those are just a couple of the games that I know and I've played. I've played through a bit of the Family Guy game and the Simpsons game. Those aren't bad. But, honestly, I'll just tell you about the Nintendo 3DS now. Nintendo 3DS, there is a lot of good games, and they offer backwards compatibility. And by everything I'm saying right now, you probably know my choice in the future, but we haven't even gotten to the modding part yet, so I'm not going to spoil it. So, the Nintendo 3DS, its games, backwards compatibility to the NDS, the DS Lite basically, or the DSi, and you can just pop those games in, play them straight up off the cartridge. You don't have to install them, don't have to do nothing. Same with the PSP. Okay, and also, the Nintendo 3DS saves all its data to the cartridges, and I believe the PSP does too. Actually, it might not. Don't credit me on that. The games on Nintendo 3DS, my favorite ones would be Pokemon Ultra Moon, Ultra Sun, Sun and Moon, but all 4 of the games. Any other Pokemon game, honestly, those are all really good. Super Mario Bros, like any of those games that you can fit on the DS. Tomodachi Life. There's loads of good games. Let me open my DS right now, actually. Okay, another couple of good games are, Ridge Racer, that's a fun one. Pokemon Rumble World, which is a free game on the Nintendo eShop. Pokemon Shuffle is a really good game. It's one of the Candy Crush games, kinda. But that's also on the Nintendo eShop. Super Mario 3D Land, that's a really good one. That one is free if you bought the bundle in 2015. Pokemon X and Y, those are really good. You can buy Monster Hunter, those are really good. Okay, well, enough going on about the 3DS. Let's get to a different topic. Okay, now we're going to talk about modding the consoles. Now, modding these consoles, a lot of people have these consoles just laying around, useless, like I do. I'm about to mod my Switch soon because I don't use it. I modded my 3DS because I stopped putting use into it. I modded my PSP because I've honestly not used it a whole lot at all. But, I gotta say, modding these things are extremely easy. It's worth doing. You have a chance of breaking your console, but I mean, those chances are very low depending on which methods you're using. And we're not going to talk about the Nintendo Switch. I'm just saying it's a bigger chance in Nintendo Switch than anything. Alright. So yeah, the 3DS and the PSP. Both of them are honestly pretty hard. I mean, like, it's kind of hard to brick your device as long as you do everything right. Now, the 3DS, if you brick it or do anything, you can just easily get it unbricked. The PSP, on the other hand, I'm not 100% sure. I believe once you brick it, you can't do much about it, but that's just from what I've heard. I haven't actually had it bricked or anything of that sort. But modding the consoles. So basically, modding the 3DS, it's extremely simple. What you want to do is you just basically drag and drop files, launch a game, and it takes about 15 minutes. Extremely easy process as long as you have a functioning computer and a functioning SD card. And you have time on your hands, aka 15 minutes. I mean, just super simple, worth doing. You can play any game you want. You can emulate stuff. Emulating! Let's get to that topic. For the 3DS, emulation can go from, well, if you use RetroArch, which is the main one I use because I don't really know of many other emulators for the 3DS. I personally, since I use RetroArch, I play any of the games, like, you can even play PS1 games. I don't know how they run on the new Nintendo 3DS. I don't have one, but I believe they run quite a bit better than they do on 3DS, the normal 3DS XL, which does not run them good at all. It's basically just a slideshow, which isn't very cool, but you can play NES games, SNES games, you can play all those sorts, you can play every old console dating up to PS1. Okay, modding the PSP on the other hand. So, we're gonna get to this. Modding the PSP is simpler than the 3DS. Believe it or not, it can get easier than that. You plug this thing into your PC using a special cable that's really outdated, but, other than that, you kind of just go onto its SD card and it's plugged in, it's on while you're doing this process, unlike the 3DS where you have to turn it off. And so you literally just drag and drop files, it instantly appears, you install it, you instantly install something else, and then you've modded your PSP. It's a lot easier than the 3DS XL. But what can you do with the modded PSP? Now, you can get custom themes. I mean, you can get all the custom themes and do all that stuff on 3DS. You can also do emulation. But emulation, you can also do on PSP. Let's get to that. There's loads of PSP emulators. There's like way over 40. Now, what can and can't you run on the PSP? I have N64 games running splendidly on my PSP. It's awesome. They run in better quality than they do on the Nintendo 3DS. Not performance-wise, just screen quality-wise. And also, you can run basically any game up to the N64. I don't think you can run PlayStation games or PlayStation 1 games. Don't correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, you can search it up yourself. But modding it's super simple. The games are awesome. And also, when you put the games on it, you literally just drag and drop it and it's there. Unlike the DS, where you have to go through and install it. Now, the bad side about modding it is your 4 GB SD card limit. Now this gets really annoying, is if you don't have a micro SD adapter to put into your PSP to give it more storage through micro SD, and you're just using a memory stick duo, you're kinda screwed. You need storage to mod this thing to play the games you want, because the games are significantly larger than DS games. But other than that, I'm gonna come to my conclusion. I personally think the 3DS wins. There's so much more you can do on it. The emulation's better. I mean, it may not have the nice, video quality and such, but you have themes, loads and loads of games that are all really good. You can mod your Pokemon save files. You can do all this with a micro SD card built into the thing, basically, where you can use it. And it doesn't have its own, locked SD card. And you can just do all that on a Nintendo 3DS. Yeah, it may cost the extra money, but it's worth it. And that's about all I got. Thank you guys for watching. I can do a video on modding the 3DS if you guys would like, or modding the PSP 1000, 2000, and 3000, that is. Just leave a comment below. If I get more than 5 people telling me that they want it, then I'll make a video. Have a good day, guys.